How are you? I greet you all from wherever you are getting me from. I know there are different time zones for different people. You could be watching me in the morning, you could be watching me in the afternoon, you could be watching me in the evening. All of you, I say welcome. And I say hi. Thank you for taking your time to come and just stop by New Mentors website to just get to meet me and get to know me. And in this video, I will take you through my story. Probably by the time that you bumped into my website, you came looking for something, or you came wanting to know who is John? Where does he come from? What about his life? How has it been? What have been his challenges? What have been his motivations? If that is your curiosity and that is your question, then this is my story. I grew up in two different places in Kenya. Up to the age of 7 years, I was in central Kenya. And from that time up to the age of 16, from the age of 7 years up to the age of 16, I grew up in Tana River. That is in the coastal region of Kenya, bordering northeastern part. Geographically and in terms of environment, the two places are totally different from each other. Or the central Kenya, where I grew up to the age of 7, was cold at the top of the Aberdares Ranges Mountains. Tana River, on the other hand, was hot and extremely hot. Two different environmental experiences that I encountered right at my young life. We settled in Tana River together with my family. We were 10 siblings together with our parents who are now late. And we went there in a government settlement scheme. A scheme where our parents were settled because they could not have land or they did not have any other asset. And therefore, in Bura, they went there to farm in a government settlement scheme. What I would say about my life in Bura, because that's where the bulk of my life was and which is of interest for whoever would like to know me and which has gone on to shape who I am, is that life in Bura was a life that was initially life that was interesting, a life of abundance, and a life where we were treated like special citizens. In that, while at the time that we got settled there, around 1982, the rest of the country did not have piped water. It was even in the urban areas. Us in Tana River, in Bura irrigation scheme, in a very rural setup, we had piped water and we lived in decent houses, all built by government. We had access to social services. I remember would get a ministry of our government ministry coming to show us films. I remember we would have government agencies bringing some interesting things to our parents, and life was good. Growing up with their siblings, we had arrived to a place that was good compared to where we had come from. The most interesting bit was that our parents would pay us. At that moment, or during that life that we lived, the parents would get paid at the end of the year for the proceeds they have delivered to government. That is cotton produce and maize produce. So out of the proceeds they would get, they would share with us as their children for the way we supported them through the whole year. And I remember we would use that money to buy ourselves things, like gifts and that was interesting for us. Being paid by our parents, that was interesting. But unfortunately, the good story that began was never to end as a good story. After about 10 years, the whole system collapsed. And this changed livelihoods of many families, of many people, and that collapse of the scheme never left us the same. As we were young at that time, we came to experience that it is possible for you to have and not to have at the same time. It is possible for you to experience abundance and at the same time move to the extreme end of begging, because that's what happened. From the life where we had plenty, we moved to a point where the government used to give us relief foods. The government used to give our parents and ourselves relief food. And even other humanitarian agencies would come to give us relief food. In fact, most of the children after us were actually dependent on government rations in schools. They would go to school for them to have a meal because their parents would not be able to afford a meal. And it's around that time, at the time of collapse and the beginning of what was to become a horrible life for our parents and my siblings, that I was at the point of transiting from my primary school to my secondary school. And that was significant for me. It was significant because I had begun asking myself questions and began figuring out what I needed to do, triggered by my mom's wisdom. One day we were in the farm, and you can imagine what kind of farm it was: desolate, bare, and all that kind of a thing. A plane happened to pass by, overpass us at that time. And I asked my Mom, how does that thing move up there? And in her own way, in her own wisdom, she told me, that plane is driven by sons of women. And even you, if you want, you can also drive it. That was a game changer in my thinking, in my way of approaching life, and my way of thinking about life. Because all of a sudden I realized that it is possible to form a dream. And then I began forming a dream. And one of my dreams was I need to get out of Tana River. Never mind that my parents could not be able to pay for my school fees henceforth. Even when I went to secondary school, they could not be able to pay for my school fees because they had no means of livelihood. But I still believed in me. It was possible for me to achieve the dream that I needed to achieve. And at that moment, the dream that I needed to achieve was, first of all, get out of Tana River. And the only way to get out of Tana River was for me to get to be a chance to go to a secondary school that we call national school here in Kenya. And that was the moment that I knew that the only thing I needed to do was to work hard in school, in my primary school, for me to be able to get that chance in secondary school. And indeed, yes, I went ahead to work very hard, and I became the best in Tana River, and I transited to the secondary school of my choice, a national school. That was interesting, and that happened, and I felt that yes, this is a dream come true. This is nice, and this has opened for me another chapter. Never mind that at that moment still there was a question of how was my school fees to be paid. And so happened that when I joined a national school, well-wishers who knew us from Bura decided that, told my parents that they were going to pay my school fees. And therefore, what I needed to do just to work hard in my high school and proceeded to my university, just as I had dreamt about. And my life at the university, again, was a life of just depending on well-wishers and not going back to Tana River as I had wished when I was still there. And I would still go back to this family in central Kenya and live with them. And therefore, I exited from being in Tana River. To cut the long story short, I proceeded to finish the university and get a job. Of course, The dream of every Kenyan who goes through the university is to get a good job. And in Kenya, a good job is that one that assures you of stability and a good retirement package, and that's the government job. And indeed, I got a government job. By the time I got the government job, I was married. I had my wife, and our firstborn had been born. And we were 1 year into our marriage. And that was a problem that we had to deal with. A young family and a government job. And the problem was that I had been transferred back to Tana River. My first posting for the government job was back in Tana River, where I had come from, where I had grown up, where I had hated to go back to. And guess what? For the next 9.5 years, I worked in Tana River. Oh boy, that was a moment that was so difficult for me. It was a moment of asking myself questions. It was a moment of asking myself, what is the meaning of this job? That I have a good job, but I'm working away from my family. I'm not seeing my family as I would wish to. Never mind that my parents then were still there and my siblings were still there, but my wife and kids, them that I cared for most, were not there. They were still in Nairobi. I decided not to go back with them to Tana River. And that moment, I asked myself, what can I do now that I'm in Tana River? I cannot resign. I don't have another alternative. What do I do? I began and I made a resolution that I'm going to search for another opportunity. I believed in myself that there was a better way. There was something better that I could do that would make my life different, that would improve my life. And that's what I began doing, searching for another opportunity. I'm a fan of online. I'm a fan of online stuff. And I believe deep down in my heart that online lies the opportunity. In fact, I believed that if ever I was going to have a breakthrough, it was to be through online ventures. And I began searching. And I know most of you watching me may identify with me on what I'm going to say hereafter. The search for an opportunity online was not simple. Just like what happens for many people, I got into the hands of scammers, and I got into the hands of people that were promising me things that they would not deliver. Network marketers, they were there. They promised me that if I made a network and sold their product online, I would make it big. I made a network, but when the frustration came, I'd always be asking myself, what about the last person in my chain? What about if they are not able to make a network? What happens to them? They would still come back to me and blame me that I introduced them to a network that they're not able to move on with. I introduced them to a venture that they'll not be able to move on with. And because I value people, and because I value what I give to people, I realized that was not the thing I wanted to do. I left there and then I said, why don't I do something that is just within my control? I'm not building a network, but it's something that I'm going to be doing within my control. I went into online Forex. Online Forex, again, what happened with it is that I realized that it needed more technical things. The people that I got exposed to were people that were not giving me the full story. Soon I realized I was losing money. I'm not saying that it's not good or it's not a viable venture, but the thing is, I got into the wrong hands and I burnt my fingers badly. I lost money, and remember, I'm losing money, and at the same time, I'm trying to save so that I could make my life better. I decided, no, that is not what I should do. But then in the process, I had learned so many things. I had learned a lot. I had come across so many things online and gained some knowledge, even as I failed on the ventures that I got myself into. I decided, no, let me not go online. Let me now try something that's offline. I went into organic fertilizer selling. I went into stationery selling. I went into insurance. And all these things, I would leave them because of one thing, cold calling. I knew that I would not be able to cold call for the products I needed to sell. But even when I could not cold call, what was amazing is that any product that I took to sell, I had mastery of it. I knew what it would do. I knew the benefits it would have on my clients. I knew what I would tell my clients. But the problem is that I could not cold call. I could not continue cold calling, and I could not continue doing something that I could not identify with. I could not just identify with the issue of just cold calling people and approaching people like that. To cut the long story short, I decided that I need to refocus. I need to refocus back on my life. I need to now look at myself and ask myself, what is it that gives me the wow moment? Is it that when it happens with me, I feel I'm top of the world. I feel I've achieved. I began looking back down in my career. I began looking back at the work that I was doing with government, and I realized that my wow moments were the moments when I worked with my clients and they came out of prison and they went on to achieve their goals that they had set before me, and goals that excited them. And I realized my wow moments were the moments that I worked with people towards achieving their ideal selves, their ideal goals. It was not the moments when I had money. It was not the moment when I could build like the way I built my house. It could not be the moments when I was surrounded by these people that I thought were special people. But it was the moment that I could empower, I could work with somebody, beginning even with my own wife. The moment I was able to mentor her and support her and help her achieve her own dreams, I felt so good. I felt on top of the world. And then I decided that's what I want to do. That is where my breakthrough lies. My breakthrough lies in mentorship, in working with people to actually achieve their own dreams, to help them achieve that which they want to achieve. And that's how New Beginning Mentors was born. How? Or what is a big issue about the New Beginning Mentors? The New Beginning Mentors is based on the fact that, yes, you have gone through a lot of challenges. Yes, you have been beaten by life. Yes, you have not found that which you is your ideal. But yes, you can begin again. Yes, you can begin again. And for you to begin again, you need what I finally got. For me, I got the right training, I got the right mentors, and I got the right community. And that's what I decided that this is what I want to keep promoting. That I want to move on with this. I want to reach a point where I mentor people beyond my own limitations, beyond my own capacities, beyond my own imaginations. And the only way I could do that is if I could do something that was beyond me, something that it did not need me all the time to do it. And that's how that I am now on this venture that is New Beginning Mentors. At New Beginning Mentors, what we do, we listen to your story and we just encourage you to go for your dreams. Our bias is on online ventures, online initiatives, online business. Are you looking to build your online business? Have you been frustrated in the past? Do you have a goal that you want to achieve for your life? Do you have something that is your wow moment? Something that you want to look after? That's what we'll work with you to achieve. You give us a chance, we will work with you through that. And therefore, I invite you to just be with us and just work with us. We have a variety of products and a variety of services that we shall be offering. We shall expose those who come to us for mentorship to online trainings that are good, that will make them achieve their dreams, that will make them change the narrative. We'll expose them to systems that work, and we'll expose them to how of doing things. Because I know, as I have trained before, I trained young people on life skills. I consider this a life skill. The knowledge of how to do it right online is a life skill. It is a skill that is going to make or break your dreams, make or break your aspirations, make or break that lifestyle that you've been hoping to achieve. And therefore, as you walk through with us on this site and on the things that we're going to be offering, we do hope that we add value to you. We do hope that we're going to make a difference to your life. And we do hope that by us giving you the things we're going to be exposing you to, you're going to find value in them, and they're going to be of use to you, even as you continue to move to your own dream, like I am now living my dream, where I am able now to motivate people to actually be able to achieve their own dreams. Thank you for watching, and thank you for visiting. Thank you for stopping by, and I do hope to see you. Drop me a message on the link that you're going to see below and let us meet, even as to just for you to list for you to share with you my story, and I may be able to help you be able to achieve your dream. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best, even as you continue exploring the rest part of our website. Thank you very much.